August 31, 2014, 6:42 a.m., Los Angeles. Jennifer Lawrence opens her eyes to a phone vibrating non-stop beside her bed. 47 missed calls, 12 voicemails, 33 unread texts. The number climbs so fast she can barely unlock the screen. Her manager, her publicist, her family all sending the same urgent message. Call me now. Do not check the internet. Across the city, Kate Upton's agent has already counted more than 200 press inquiries in under 10 minutes. In New York, Ariana Grande's assistant watches her client's name surge to the top of the trending feed at a speed she has never seen before. 20,000 tweets in 5 minutes. Then 50,000. No explanation. No warning. By 7 a.m. more than 100 celebrities are receiving frantic calls. Something enormous has ruptured online. Something spreading faster than anyone can contain. What they do not know is that 5 ordinary men scattered across the country have just ignited one of the biggest digital catastrophes Hollywood has ever seen. And the shockwave is only beginning. By 7:15 a.m. the panic spreading through Hollywood no longer feels like rumor. It feels like impact. A wave of confusion hits the industry so hard that even the most seasoned publicists start losing their composure. Phones ring non-stop inside agency offices as assistants try to keep their voices steady while forwarding calls they do not understand. Every line is jammed. Every inbox is overflowing. Word is moving faster than anyone can process. Agents begin calling clients in rapid-fire bursts. Some speak calmly. Others sound like they are running out of breath. The message is always the same. Stay off your phone. Do not open anything. Something large has hit the internet and we are still trying to understand how wide it is spreading. Inside one penthouse suite, a young actress sits alone on her kitchen floor as her tablet lights up with hundreds of alerts from fans, reporters, relatives, and people she has not spoken to in years. She scrolls with trembling hands but finds no clarity. Every notification is vague and frantic. She can feel her heart pounding against her ribs as she wonders what could possibly involve her name with such urgency. Across the city, a veteran actor paces his living room with the television on mute, watching news tickers flash rapid updates without context. He calls his agent 3 times before finally getting through. The agent whispers that several high-profile clients are facing the same unexplained surge. The actor asks for details. There are none, only fear. Publicists begin grouping in emergency calls across time zones. Some are in Los Angeles, some in New York, some waking up in London. All of them repeating the same sentence. Something is moving online at a pace we have never seen. We need to control this before it becomes uncontrollable. By 8 a.m. the truth starts to form, not through facts but through dread. Too many people are panicking at once. Too many names are trending without reason. Something has breached the private world of Hollywood and spilled into the public one, and while no one yet understands the scale, everyone can feel the same cold realization sinking in. Whatever has begun this morning is not going away. It is growing. It is accelerating. And for the first time in years, the people who control Hollywood are not controlling anything at all. While Hollywood is drowning in panic, the real story is unfolding in places no one would ever suspect. Far from Los Angeles, in quiet neighborhoods and aging apartment complexes, 5 ordinary men sit behind glowing screens. None of them look dangerous. They are not prodigies. Not masterminds. Just people who spend too many nights alone with a laptop and a growing sense that the rules do not apply to them. One man sits in a basement filled with dusty computer parts. He stares at a blank browser window and rebuilds an Apple login page from scratch. Every pixel, every button, every word. When he finishes, even he struggles to tell the difference. With one line of code, he redirects everything to his inbox. The first email goes out. He tells himself it is only a test. His hands still shake. Another sits in a small bedroom with the curtains drawn. He watches the news for stories about tech breaches and sends his fake alerts at the exact moment fear is highest. He uses urgency the way a magician uses distraction. He knows people click faster when they think time is running out. Within days the responses start piling up. Passwords, logins, access. Across the country, a third man discovers something far worse. A flaw hidden deep in the Find My iPhone system. It allows thousands of password attempts without locking anyone out. No alarms. No warnings. He runs a simple script that guesses non-stop until it hits the right combination. Hours pass. Then suddenly he is inside a private account as easily as opening a door left unlocked. None of these men know each other, yet every step they take builds the same disaster. Security questions based on childhood memories that anyone can search. Backup files that download silently. A belief that cloud storage is untouchable simply because a famous company built it. And as the days pass, something shifts. Curiosity becomes confidence. Confidence becomes boldness. What starts in bedrooms and basements begins to spiral into something none of them can control. The storm is forming. They just have not realized they are standing at its center. What makes this story terrifying is that the disaster was never planned. It did not begin with a mastermind or a coordinated scheme. It began with coincidence. 5 strangers pulling on the same loose thread at the exact moment the fabric was weakest. As the hackers experiment in silence, the cracks in the system widen. One discovers that security questions reveal more than they protect. Childhood streets, pet names, schools, all the details celebrities share in interviews without thinking become the keys to their accounts. Another learns that old social media posts hold enough personal trivia to unlock entire backup chains. With every answer guessed, another door opens, and none of those doors make a sound. What none of them realize is that Apple's cloud backups carry everything. Years of messages, photos, notes, files, and worst of all, the system allows a full restoration from a new device without sending a single alert to the owner. It is a vault that forgets to ring the alarm. So the hacks continue, slowly at first, then faster. Fear fades. Confidence grows. One man tries a second account. Another tries 10. A third begins targeting anyone with a name big enough to appear in the news. They think they are acting alone. In reality, they are building pressure on the same fault line, straining the same weak points, creating the conditions for something far larger than themselves. By midsummer, the activity reaches a tipping point. Dozens of accounts compromised. Thousands of files silently copied. No one notices. No one reports anything. The storm gathers strength in total darkness, and then, without warning, everything these men have taken begins to pool in the same hidden corners of the internet. Files traded. Files combined. Files mislabeled. Bits of data with no context drifting into the hands of people who have no idea how they were obtained. It is the moment when 5 isolated acts stop being isolated. The moment curiosity turns into catastrophe. The moment the perfect storm finally forms. It begins quietly. A single anonymous post on a fringe forum late at night. No headline, no explanation, just a vague claim that someone has access to files the world has never seen. For a moment nothing happens. Then one user replies. Then 10. Then 100. Curiosity becomes adrenaline. People refresh the page so fast the server stutters. Within minutes someone uploads a small sample to prove the claim is real. It spreads across the thread like a spark hitting dry grass. Users start begging for more. Others demand proof. A few warn that this is dangerous, but the crowd moves too fast. The spark becomes a flame. In under 30 minutes mirrors appear on other forums, then private chat rooms, then social platforms where moderators cannot act fast enough. Someone copies the files. Someone else reposts them. Each upload creates 10 more. Each link generates dozens of screenshots. The wildfire jumps from platform to platform with no pattern and no control. Tech companies try to stop the spread, but the pace is impossible. A post taken down in one place reappears instantly somewhere else. People rename files, change formats, hide them inside archives, bury them inside cloud folders. The fire burns in every direction at once. By morning the scale is unimaginable. Thousands of users are circulating fragments of the same stolen data without understanding where it came from. News outlets begin hearing whispers. Search engines show sudden spikes in celebrity names. Even encrypted channels start seeing surges of new members looking for the same content. No one can trace the first spark. No one can stop the fire now that it has oxygen. The internet has entered its most unstoppable state, a state where information, once released, cannot be recalled, reversed, or erased. The wildfire is alive. It grows by the second. And for Hollywood, this is the moment the real nightmare begins. By the time the wildfire reaches national headlines, the situation is no longer a scandal. It is a federal emergency. Before sunrise, the Los Angeles field office receives a directive marked Priority 1. A breach involving high-profile victims, potential interstate crimes, possible involvement of underage material, the kind of case that demands immediate action. Agents gather in a briefing room lit only by early morning haze. A wall of screens shows charts, timelines, and digital trails already forming patterns. One supervisor speaks bluntly. The speed of the spread means this is not a typical hack. Someone has been inside these accounts for months. Someone has exploited vulnerabilities no one even knew existed. Requests go out to major tech companies within hours. Apple sends access logs. Google provides metadata from suspicious accounts. Reddit supplies IP records tied to a surge of overnight activity. Every dataset arrives with the same unsettling detail. The footprints are there, but they are sloppy. Amateurs. Real names used for registrations. Home networks. Personal email accounts linking directly to the stolen files. Agents begin connecting the clues. A login attempt in one state matches a phishing email sent from another. A backup download in early spring matches a mailbox created in winter. Like pieces of a puzzle dumped across the floor, everything starts falling into place. 1 week later, the FBI prepares coordinated raids across several states. The goal is simple. Hit every location at the exact same moment before evidence can disappear. At dawn, a dozen doors swing open. Agents enter kitchens, bedrooms, basements. Laptops are still warm, screens still logged into cloud accounts that were never theirs. Some suspects freeze. Others insist they only downloaded the files. A few look genuinely stunned that anyone ever found them. As devices are seized and evidence mounts, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The catastrophe that shook Hollywood was not the work of criminal masterminds. It was the work of ordinary people who never believed the knock on the door would come. But it has. And the investigation is only beginning. Long after the FBI raids end and the headlines move on, the people at the center of the storm are left to face something far more painful than any investigation. The emotional fallout. The damage that does not fade when the screen turns off. For many of the victims, the first hours feel like free fall. Some break down as managers try to explain what happened. Others sit in stunned silence, replaying every moment they ever trusted a device. One actress later tells her team that she feels as if the walls in her own home are closing in. Another refuses to leave her apartment for days, terrified of facing cameras or strangers who now know more than they ever should. The shock turns into fear. Fear becomes shame, and shame becomes a kind of isolation no one warns you about. Friends, co-workers, even casual acquaintances stumble over what to say. Some avoid the subject entirely. Others bring it up with awkward sympathy. No response makes the situation easier. Nothing feels normal anymore. Careers begin to shift in subtle ways. Scheduled interviews are quietly canceled. Red carpet appearances postponed. Studio executives start speaking in coded language about public image and long-term strategy. Behind the scenes, publicists scramble to protect their clients from a wave of speculation they cannot control. Therapists report sessions filled with shaking hands and sleepless nights. People who once walked confidently through crowds now flinch at the sound of a phone camera. A few develop anxiety severe enough to disrupt daily life. One victim describes feeling as if she is being watched everywhere she goes, even in grocery stores, even at her child's school. And yet the worst part is not the fear. It is the permanence. The knowledge that once something circulates online, it never truly disappears. Search results linger. Rumors grow. Strangers comment on lives they know nothing about. The victims carry this weight long after the world has moved on. The human cost is not measured in headlines or legal outcomes. It is measured in trust shattered, confidence broken, and the quiet grief of people forced to navigate a world that suddenly feels unsafe. The hacks were technical, but the wounds they left behind are deeply personal. In the weeks that follow, the shock settles into something colder, a realization that the breach was not just a moment of chaos. It was a warning, a crack in the foundation of the digital world everyone relies on. Apple races to patch vulnerabilities. New laws are drafted. Platforms rewrite their policies overnight. But the truth is already out in the open. Once data escapes into the internet, it does not return. Other companies begin reporting breaches of their own. Millions of accounts compromised. Phone numbers leaked. Passwords exposed. Ordinary people feel a new kind of anxiety when they unlock their devices. If the most protected celebrities on the planet can be stripped of privacy, what chance does anyone else have? The scandal fades from headlines, but its shadow remains. Trust in cloud storage shifts. Security becomes a personal responsibility. And across the world, people realize something they never wanted to admit. The digital age is powerful, but it is fragile. One weak password, one careless click, one unseen flaw. That is all it takes for a life to change forever. In the end, this was never just a story about a hack. It was a wake-up call. A reminder that in the digital age, the line between safety and exposure is thinner than anyone wants to believe. 5 ordinary men sitting behind ordinary screens managed to shake an entire industry and reveal how fragile our sense of security truly is. For the victims, the fallout will last far longer than any news cycle. For the rest of us, the lesson is unavoidable. Every file we save, every device we trust, every password we reuse, they form a map of our lives, more detailed than anything we share in person. And all it takes is one mistake for that map to fall into the wrong hands. The story does not end here, because the systems we rely on every day still carry flaws we cannot see. And the next breach may already be unfolding in the background right now. The question is not whether the digital world will be tested again. The question is whether we will be ready when it happens. If you found this story eye-opening and want more investigations like this, consider subscribing. It helps us bring you the truth behind the headlines and uncover what really happens in the shadows of the digital world. Stay aware, stay cautious, and remember, in a world built on data, the most valuable thing you protect is yourself.